Also, I'm exploring the possibilities of having an exhibition of some works that were done here in New York much earlier, when I had my very early exhibition in New York in the early 70s. So among the different art shows in the early 70s was an exhibition titled Place des Martyrs, named after Beirut Place des Martyrs, or Martyrs Place, known as Al-Burj. Al-Burj located at the Beirut, the city center of Beirut. Many of them were done very, very early, even included in my first exhibition in 71 in New York. Others were done in 72, 73. The same year I went to Beirut during the summer for about 3-4 months. And in Beirut, during that year, I did a number of work, maybe more than 100, so I brought them back to New York. And at that time, the series came to cover more than 300 works. 2/3 of them, about 200 or more, are watercolors. And the rest are drawings. And there's a number of pastels and works in other media. They are about medium size, perhaps 50 by 60 centimeters or whatever. The works in the series depict street scenes and scenes of love and encounter between men and women in Beirut famous plaza, Al-Burj, which was known for its adjoining red light districts along a street named after the great Arab poet Al-Mutanabbi. The Beirut Plaza of Al-Burj was named Martyrs Place, which is in French Place des Martyrs, in memory of a number of Arab nationalists consisting of journalists, writers, politicians, who were hanged in Beirut at Al-Burj in 1915-16 for speaking out against Ottoman rule and for espousing freedom and independence. When the Lebanese Civil War broke out in 1975, the central and strategic location of Place des Martyrs became a major target of the war, and eventually Al-Burj and its surrounding area were completely destroyed. Thus, Place des Martyrs itself became a martyr, and so did many of its inhabitants. In some ironic sense, the title of the painting in the series uses the French feminine gender, Place des Martyrs, martyr with an E, in reference to the place and the figures represented in the subject matter. So, having grown up in Beirut, I have many recollections with vivid images of Al-Burj or the Place des Martyrs, which is situated at the heart of Beirut business and entertainment city center. The place was a marvel, actually, of architectural design, featuring flower-bed gardens and tall, stately palm trees lining the large, broad, airy avenues. Place des Martyrs, Al-Burj, Martyr Place. The plaza was the place to see and to be seen. It enjoyed so many boutiques, shops, hotels, locandas, restaurants, bars, theaters, cinemas, and famous cafes. So many well-known cafes and places where became the gathering places for prominent personalities, za'ama, politicians, za'ama, bosses, ministers, government officials, military leaders, businessmen, journalists, writers, poets, artists, and of course attractive and beautiful women. Travelers from all directions, east, west, south, north, from neighboring countries, whether they are going to or from places like Tripoli, Bekaa, Damascus, Aleppo, Hama, and the neighboring cities and towns. People would have to come and depart from Al-Burj. And ships docked in the nearby port, which was just a few blocks down, and these ships brought with them many visitors, soldiers and sailors from various countries. El Burj was filled with energy and dynamic. People strolled and walked about in the busy places and under the multicolored neon signs and dazzling lights. Many men came to El Burj to meet women and indulge in relationships for the gratification and fulfillment of their desires, dreams, and erotic fantasies, and so on, where in El Burj and sex was readily available, provided by les demoiselles de la place des Martyrs, where attractive and pleasant courtesans of different ages, looks, styles, and nationalities worked in nightclubs, in bars, and a variety of regulated brothels. Each one was like a villa, a house, or an apartment, and posted a colorfully lit sign of the name of its patron or madam. Whenever people talked about the district, they knew the name and called them out with names such as Blanche, Sonia, La Parisienne, La Egyptienne, La Italienne, La Grecque. One of the most famous names was Marika, which had a prominent villa. So this district was known as the women market, whore market. Place des Martyrs, El Burj has a long and fascinating, most interesting history that goes back to earlier centuries, reflecting various changes, development, and periods under the Ottomans, the French, especially during the early 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, until it was disrupted by the Civil War, the 70s. So when the war ended in 91, 92, the whole area was destroyed. The land was taken over by government developers. They constructed a new and different architectural outlook and setting, consisting mostly of apartment buildings surrounding a rather open square. It's known today as Martyrs Square, so it's no longer what it used to be. Its shape was, the old El Burj was rectangular, long like this. Today it's a square, and in recent time has been the scene of a number of demonstrations and by various factions and groups. Anyway, the artworks on the Place des Martyrs series done prior to the Civil War, prior to 1975, and prior to the destruction of El Burj, offer a sort of a visual document, a perspective of their own in depicting a sequence of scenes that reveal, of course, personal experiences, knowledge, outlook, and feeling about a particular place and time in pre-war Beirut. The series counts among the few works of mine that survived the downturn of events that resulted in the loss of my New York studio in 1974. And the works stand in sharp contrast to other works that I did later on in 1975, dealing with the Lebanese Civil War and related war themes. Paintings show different scenes of women with men. They show street scenes, rather strong color, some humorous, and some actually indicate names of places, theaters, movie, like Empire, Roxy, Dunya, or Rivoli, and also of specific cafes or theater like the famous Farouk Theater, Masrah Farouk, and so on. So it will be quite interesting to exhibit this work here in New York, where it was shown so many years ago.